Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. So I am going to kind of go over a really fun subject today. I know I've been getting a lot of questions in the DMs on Facebook, as well as my self-storage school students. And they always say, this is kind of a fun question. Like, if I had to start over in self-storage, like in 2025 with $0, no connection, like no excuses, like what would be your first couple steps that you would take? And I love talking about this because it does not matter where in the market you start. Like if you are, 45 years old, or if you are 18 years old, having these skill sets, and this is what I teach, and I'm such a firm believer in this, is if you have a skill set of finding good off-market deals, people are going to come to you and say, hey, you have something that I want. How can we explore a partnership, right? And so I'm going to kind of walk through the steps that I would take, especially if I was starting over again, like today with no money and no connections. These are the things like I wish I would have known when I first started, because I definitely would have been even faster to the plate of getting my first storage facility. I always like to say there's people that have money, right? And they have people that have time. And then there's people that are really hungry and will actually figure out any type of skill set in order to make it happen. Which one are you? Or are you a combination of the two? Let me know. I want to know below, because I want to hear what type of personality you have. But this is what I love to talk about in the self-storage school, is like how to find good off-market deals, right? So if I had zero money and zero connections, what I would do, and if I was just walking around, like someone dropped me off in the middle of nowhere, right? I would actually walk myself to the local library, and I would say, I would get a library card. And you guys, this is where I have no money and no connections and no car. I would get a local library card, and I would start to browse the internet, right? And so on the internet, I would just open up Google Maps, and I'm actually going to show you guys this demo, but I have 5 steps that we're going to walk through today, and how I would actually get started with self-storage. And I would go onto Google Maps, and I would actually go to a city within, a 4-hour radius of where I currently was. And I would type into the Google Maps, I would say self-storage, and let's just do Sullivan, Missouri, because that is a place that I'm very interested in. I'm actually going to show you guys how to do this. And from there, you can actually write in self-storage facilities in, Sullivan, Missouri. They will all pop up, you guys, within a 4-hour radius. And so from there, I would actually start to look at creating a top 100 list. Okay, of mom and pop self-storage owners with no website, under 4.1 stars, and then less than 10 reviews, because that actually shows you that that is a true mom and pop owner. And those are the ones that we want to actually talk to, build a relationship with, and buy their facility. Because normally mom and pop owners have not a very good website. They're not managing it, very, very well. They don't have software. And these are the value adds that we like to come in and buy day one and then perfect. Okay. So I'm going to open this up. We're going to make it live demo so that you guys can ask questions. I know a few of you are on here that want to know how to do this. So I'm going to share my screen and walk you through all these different steps. Let me know. Can you guys see this? I hope you guys can see this. So I'm at my library, my local library. I have 0 connections, no money. I'm going to go to Sullivan, Missouri, on Google Maps, which is within a 4-hour radius. And I'm going to go to nearby, you guys, and I'm going to write self-storage right here. Okay. So this is called kind of the Google Map Play or Google Map Pack, as Google likes to talk about. And you guys can find anything, right? Anything on Google Maps, restaurants, RV parks, self-storage particularly. And so I use this all the time, and I let my students use this, but this is free. It's free at the library. You can do this. And so what I would do immediately here is I like this market because, you guys, there is a lot of mom and pop owners here. And so I am going to find show me storage of Sullivan. No website. There's 0 website here. So I am going to add this to my top 100 list of self-storage facilities that I want to target today, in order to call and see if they are open to selling to me, right? Or if they're open to considering an offer. So there is all these facilities. Look at this. No website, no website. And then another key indicator, you guys, is that we like to look at facilities. This one has a website, totally fine, and they have about 5 stars, 21 reviews. That means that this owner is fully managing this facility right and well. And so I want to find a facility that has maybe it has a website, but under 4.1 stars. and less than 10. So this hits that perfect criteria. So I would add that to the list, okay? But all these here are targets, okay? So these would be on my top 100 list in Excel, or if you want to handwrite it down, perfectly fine. But I would go down this list in the library. I would use one of the phones, and I would say, hey, I would call up the facility right here, because honestly, this is, you guys, this is a business. And business owners that have no website are normally the ones that are the managers, right? Or it goes directly to their phone. So I would call the website number right here, or the facility number, and I would say, hi, Mr. Joe at ABC Storage. I'm just curious, are you the owner of the storage facility? Oh, hey, Tom, my name is Bree Hartman. My family and I actually have been looking to buy a storage facility in your market actually for quite some time. I really like your location and where you guys are on the main strip. Have you ever considered looking at an offer on your storage facility? ? Let them answer. Like, pause is your best friend, okay? And if they're like, well, don't really consider selling right now, be like, hey, that's totally fine. I'm actually really local to you. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you purchased your storage facility. Like, how did you own this? This looks like an amazing business. Open them up. Everyone loves talking about themselves, right? So once they start talking to you, the last question I kind of like start to end with is, I'm just fascinated. I'm sure owning a business, someone in this area that might be open to looking at an offer. Do you know anyone possibly, because we have money and we're looking to buy today? And he might be able, since I started to get to know you, like, hey, come by. I would actually consider looking at an offer. Or, hey, my neighbor down the street has actually been mentioning he's going to retire. Here's his number. Here's the connection, right? So this is a really key piece, you guys, to going deep, building relationships fast, and actually finding off-market storage deals, because you are calling the owner directly and building that relationship. So if I had no money and I was starting over with zero connections, you guys, at a library on Google Maps and using someone's phone in the library, I could find a storage facility. And you guys, from there, I would actually go and I would every single day, I would call about 20 to 50 of these storage facilities until I received a yes. And the reason for this, again, I want to repeat, is that our whole goal is we want to actually find sellers that raise their hand that say, hey, I would consider an offer. Okay. And so again, mostly in where we are today, we want to buy a storage facility. You either have time or you have money. Okay. And so if I had zero money, what I would do is I'm trying to find a mom and pop owner to raise their hand that says, I want an offer, because I will actually go out and wholesale my first storage facility so that I can get $100,000 into my pocket today. In addition to, if I wholesale it to someone, I might be able to take also another 5 to 10% equity from that deal. So now you've got cash flow, day one in your pocket since you have no money. And now you also own a little piece of that pie because you are the connection. You literally are bringing deals on a silver platter to someone who has money and that also wants what you have. So people are willing to talk to you, right? They want to talk to you. They want to talk to people that actually have good storage deals. And it's incredible that this actually is something that my students do today. And as an example, we have a storage school student. He lives in Texas. And he drove by 2 facilities, and he's actually not only buying one, he's buying 2. And he took it to his boss, his captain at his fire station, and said, hey, does anyone want in on the storage deal that I'm taking down and buying today and that I found? And his captain's like, absolutely. I'll put more than $100,000 into this because I want a return. And this is an amazing deal. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys an example on how you can come in with little to none of your own money. Okay. So the second step, you guys, if I had zero money, under my name, and I am trying to locate a storage deal, either to buy or to wholesale, I would do, this is the second step. So I would actually go driving for dollars. Okay. So I'm still sharing my screen. And I'm going to actually go in a little bit closer. So we're going to call this, we're driving for dollars, right? So what I like to do is, if you can go into the map layer, you can actually drive for dollars, and you can come and drop your little man right here, right? So this is a facility that has no website. You guys should be calling these today. And look at a beautiful cell tower. which we love. But if you come down here, we're going to take a look at this storage facility. It has no website, which is insane. And it's beautiful. Like, I would own this today, right? Like, I want to know in the chat, like, would you own this? I want to know, because I would buy this today. Someone calls, bring it to me. I will help you with the money piece to it. So if I had no money, I would literally drive for dollars. And what I would do is I would whole list, again, you guys, a list of 50 to 100 of these storage facilities. And I would get into step number 2. I would have no money and no connections. I would actually register. I'd find a Lyft driver or a Uber driver. And I would say, hey, Mr. Uber driver, I will give you 15% of my wholesale fee that I buy a storage facility if you drive me around for 4 hours of your time. And that could be, my plan is to actually get $70,000 to $100,000 in this wholesale fee. So I'll give you 15%. That's a really good deal. They better say yes. No driver would actually not say yes to that. So you would go for 4 hours. You would go to all 50 or 100 of these storage facilities that you created a list at in the library. So you guys, in the library, like, this doesn't have to be like a perfect thing. Okay. And I would actually say the exact same thing. I would stop in and say, normally the owner is the manager that is on site. But if you drive for dollars, you can stop in and just say, hi, Mr. Manager at Main Street Storage. Are you the owner of this facility? And he's going to be like, yeah, actually, I am the owner. What can I help you with? Right. And I'm going to just introduce myself. Hi, my name's Brie Hartman. I've just been driving around as I've been really wanting to purchase a storage facility in this area. And I have the money and I have the capital. Would you ever consider an offer on this facility? And because you're right there, you're getting to know, like, and trust really fast. And even though he says no, that's okay. You're there. So then you guys ask, hey, how did you buy this facility? Can you just show me around real quick? Because I want to be a storage owner just like you. Make sure you compliment them. People love compliments. And then you get a free tour, which is actually incredible, and get to know, like, and trust. And then you can always say, well, hey, if you ever consider selling, I would love to, I would love to sit down and put an offer in front of you, right? So now you're building that relationship. So I would do that with all 50 of those facilities in under 4 hours and get a facility under contract. So I want to know if that is something you guys think that you can actually do. I love it, because a lot of people are sending me messages in the DMs. Step number 3. Okay, once I've gone to all of these 50 facilities and drove around for 4 hours, it would be hard to not have someone not only walk around and show you these facilities, but it would be hard for them not to say no to looking at an offer. Because you guys, when you say, would you look at an offer, you're giving them an opportunity to look at money. It's not like you're selling Cutco, like, you're not doing that. You're actually being like, hey, I have money. I want to give you money for your storage facility. Would you consider this, right? Most people they're business owners, right? We love money. We want to take a look at offers all day long, as long as they make sense to us, right? So I would find someone who wants to sell and is like, yeah, I'll take that offer. Like, I want to retire. There's a lot of baby boomers. You guys, there's 65% storage owners are baby boomers that are looking, right, to retire in the next couple of years. And so I wanted to give this as example. Step number 3 is I would put a facility under contract, and I would try to wholesale my first deal if I had zero money and no connections. Okay. So because we want to get a car so we can do this over and over and over again. So after I'd get a facility under contract, and I'm going to give you an example. We just did we wholesaled a facility that was around 55,000 square feet. And this wholesale deal, you guys, we met the owner, talked to the owner, and he was fine with doing seller financing. He owned it outright. He was like, hey, I want $3 million. And I'll give you your terms. Okay. And so the terms that we negotiated in this deal was 0% interest. And I know people are like, that is wild. Why would he do it? And the reason was he wanted the $3 million, no matter how you looked at it. The facility was really worth maybe 2.6, 2.7. We gave him 3 million with 0% interest and with about 20% down. And we had a 10-year, no prepayment penalty balloon, which was he wanted to get those payments of $7,000 literally of cash flow in his mailbox every single day for not doing anything and not pay Uncle Sam, not pay capital gains on the $3 million that he got. Does that make sense? Like, that is a huge win. If you are a business owner and you want to kind of reduce your tax burden and get mailbox money, That is a win-win all day long. Okay. So this deal, we actually ended up taking it and saying, it has a little bit more capital expenditure than we wanted to deal with at this point in time. We had other deals that we were taking down. So we would rather wholesale it. And so we wholesaled this deal to someone that was local in that area for $100,000. So they paid us $100,000 to wholesale this deal so that they could buy it from us. Okay. So that's money in our pockets day one. Okay. So the fourth step, now we've got money in our pockets, right? As a wholesaled our first deal. Now we're going to do it again. The fourth step that I would do if I was starting over though, is after I had that money and that skill set, I would partner with a local storage broker as well. I would build that relationship up with them. I've got about 10 or 12 self-storage brokers that I call on the daily, weekly basis, that bring me deals, and I would negotiate with them. I would say, hey, Mr. Broker, I am finding deals right and left based on the skill sets that I know to find off-market deals. If I partnered with you and brought you a storage deal, would we be able to negotiate 25 to 30% of your commission on that deal if you sign a contract with them after I gave it to you? And you guys, most of these brokers right now are looking for deals. They're just looking for deals and they want help doing this. And so a lot of brokers have said yes to this and will actually split that commission with you. Okay. Or have a fee. Sometimes others will not. That's totally fine. But it is really great to look at how can you build a skill set, negotiate with others, and then partner with them to double your proceeds, right? And so the fifth step, you guys, and last step that I wanted to really teach you guys on this live was how do we take how to find off-market self-storage deals, and how do we repeat it, refine it, and now scale it to buy our own facility. Now I have $100,000, right, in my pocket, and I also have a skill set of finding off-market deals. And so I am going to rinse and repeat that skill set over and over again. I am going to call 50 to 100 storage facilities that meet my buy box and also are off-market mom and pop owners, and I am going to ask them if they would ever consider an offer on their storage facility. I do this every single day for 2 hours every day, you guys. I've been doing it for 2 hours every single day for about 4 years. I now have hired other acquisition specialists to do this for me and my students. And that is why we get some of the best off-market deals into our self-storage school off-market pipeline that we take down together or they take down by themselves. But this is the power of being in a community and then also learning a skill set that you will actually feed off of your family from for a lifetime. So once that's how I started buying facilities. And once I bought one facility, it's crazy how that same business plan and model, you can literally pick it up, put it into a different market as long as that market has a great supply and demand, tailor it for that market and scale. So my goal, you guys, my students' goal is to own not only 1 or 2 facilities, but it's to own 5 to 10 facilities into a portfolio, and then to exit that portfolio within 7 or 10 years, however long they want, right? So I hope this was helpful. The whole goal with this was to say that you guys don't need money. You don't need money, and you also don't need a lot of excuses in order to get started in self-storage and to buy your first facility or your next facility. It's all about taking that jump, making that step, and betting on yourself, right? As long as you have good knowledge to start from and you're not floundering, being put into a community of people that are out there sourcing deals, bringing deals to other people, partnering within these groups, and then also building and making sure they're building a business model to scale. Okay. I always say one storage facility definitely can change your life, but if you own 3 to 5, that is really when you're wow, okay, now I have life options. Now I can work from anywhere. Now I have a business plan and model that I can actually, my family and I can live off of and not have to depend on a W-2, right? Which is, we all know, I've worked a W-2 for a lot of years. I worked for the state of California, and I would get a paycheck once a month and I would work my butt off, So now I get to actually be a business owner, reap those benefits and cash flow and actually double my net worth by owning a business and a commercial real estate, which is self-storage. So if you guys are interested in wanting to learn, I think, more about self-storage, buy your first storage deal, you guys, this is the time right now. It is buy time. People are willing to do seller financing offers. We are having this happen about 40 to 45% in our self-storage school group right now. And these are how students are taking these deals down. So if you are interested in learning more or actually getting, a little bit of input into our off-market self-storage deal pipeline, just send me a really quick DM in the messages, or here is my business phone. So actually send the DM like storage school to 916-579-7209. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually set you up with either myself or my business partner, so you can actually talk to a real live self-storage business owner to hear about self-storage. And then also I am going to give you guys my creative financing bundle, which I've never given away, you guys, and then also a storage deal underwriting tool set. So if you guys send me a DM right now, I will actually send that directly your way in the next 5 minutes. So if you are interested in that, I'm always about, I want to educate and help people get started. I wish I had these tools when I got started in storage. I definitely went in circles for a good 6 months. And I think that once you have some of these important skill sets and it's not the fluff, you can actually put in offers, know how to underwrite a deal to say yes or no, or an offer, and then also setting that offer, getting it, partnering with a student within our community, or even partnering it with one of your bosses or a family and friend. Take that deal down is so important. So you guys, a little bit of work goes a long way, and the skill set of bringing and finding off-market deals can literally feed your family for a lifetime. So love to have a conversation with you. Again, if you're interested in the self-storage school, we have enrollment going on right now, and we have a really great special going on. So love to have a conversation with you. Have a wonderful day. Let me know what any type of subjects you guys are wanting to learn. I love creating cheat sheets. I love creating simple processes. So definitely send me a DM below. Or again, you guys, if you want my creative financing bundle for storage, the storage creative financing playbook, DM me the word storage to 916-579-7209. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.